Back-to-back Super Bowls for the Kansas City Chiefs, 3 in 5 years, my goodness. And no one knows this town's sports scene better than our next guest, Kevin Kietzman. He was on the show on Friday, and we had to go back to the well. We had such a good time with him on Friday. I said, let's get him back in the mix here on Monday if he's got the time for us. His podcast, Kevin Kietzman Has Issues. You know what he's talking about today, the issues he's covering on his show. Kevin, good morning. What did you see last night, my friend?
Well, I saw mayhem. I mean, I've never seen anything quite like the end of that game. I mean, so much happened in advance of that. The defenses were great, and I know we're going to talk about all that. Literally tens of millions of people had no idea what the rules were at the end of the game, and now we have multiple players on both sides of the ball that thought the game was ending when the clock hit 0 if that was the last play and the Chiefs didn't get in. I mean, that was utter confusion and mayhem and drama all built into one moment that was so spectacular. I mean, it was just remarkable the way the Chiefs did this. It's almost like, you know, the Chiefs are you've heard the term, don't poke the bear with a stick. That's the Chiefs. You just got to get a lead on them. You got to poke them a little bit to wake them up, and then you can't beat them. Patrick Mahomes is unreal, buddy. They're talking about greatest of all time, the acronym GOAT. I think he's the BOAT. I think he's the best of all time. I can't say he's the greatest because he doesn't have Brady's Super Bowls yet. He's only 28. But nobody has ever played this position in this sport, America's favorite sport, like Patrick Mahomes. He's the best we've ever seen.
Well, when you say there, Patrick Mahomes, and we both watched him throughout the regular season and wondered what was off. Was it him? Was it the wide receivers? Was it both? That disastrous Christmas game against the Raiders you and I touched on Friday. What is it, just the playbook? Because it feels like it's more than just that changed with this guy and this team over the last few weeks.
He became, I know we talked about this a little bit on Friday, he became a game manager, which has always been an insult in football. But if you look at the first 5 years Mahomes played, and again, every season he's been the starting quarterback, he's been to the AFC Championship game. He now has 3 Super Bowls. He's batting 500. 3 Super Bowls in basically 6 years. I mean, it's just remarkable football. But when we watch him play, it's just stuff we haven't seen before. He just does things that others don't do. And this year, to his repertoire, what he added was, I just got to be the guy that doesn't turn it over. And then we saw, finally last night, first time all year, a called, designed run play for him.
Yeah.
A couple times that they ran it, which is, you do that in the Super Bowl. You don't do it in the regular season. So they added some wrinkles, but that's all part of being a game manager. And I don't think in this town, I don't think we ever want to hear game manager again as a pejorative, right? We used it with Alex Smith, said, oh, he's a game manager. That was a negative on Alex Smith. This is what the Chiefs need to be. That's the youngest defense that's ever won a Super Bowl. They have the best returning defense in the NFL and the cheapest defense, by the way. Chris Jones isn't going anywhere, I don't think. I think he's going to stay and get more money in endorsements than he would get going somewhere else. I mean, did you see the love fest with him and Andy after the game last night? What? Chris Jones ain't leaving this team, Pete. There's plenty of money for him. They'll figure it out. Dynasty, it feels like the beginning of something. It doesn't feel like they just won their 3rd Super Bowl. To me, it feels like a new era where the best quarterback we've ever seen now has the best defense in the NFL. My God, who's going to beat him?
Wow. So you don't think, Chris Jones's agents, they've been scrapping for every penny. You think Chris is going to basically tell him, hey, get the deal to keep me in Kansas City and let's make up that money that we may have lost through endorsements?
Travis Kelce's been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce's the most underpaid player in the National Football League. He is wildly underpaid, and he jokes about it in public. But do you know how much money he's making outside of his salary?
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Jones can do the same thing. He's got charisma. People know who he is. He's a bona fide superstar. There is no reason he can't have all his own commercials himself. And there's millions and millions of dollars into doing commercials. If he takes money from the Carolina Panthers and finishes his career in oblivion, he's not doing any commercials out there. He can get all this stuff on the side and live the life you want to live. You're in a dynasty. Come on. Why would you leave?
No, listen.
Why would you leave?
I totally agree from that standpoint. And I also think as these guys set up their post-playing careers with media and branding, he's better off maybe not making as much on the field to set himself up for millions of dollars off the field after his playing days are done. So I get that. I get what you're saying. Back to the game, the special teams. You saw the muff punt by the Niners. You saw, well, it really hit a guy's leg, and then, the returner tried to pick it up and fumbled it. You saw the missed extra point or the blocked extra point. It always seems like these games come down to something on special teams, Kevin. What about that angle from last night?
Well, on the hold on the long kick by Butker, that was a flat kick that was almost blocked.
Yeah.
It was a line drive kick that went through. Just remarkable. This guy's an absolute stud. The extra point being missed was big, but it wasn't the ball game. There's a temptation for people to say, oh, that's the only reason the Chiefs got it to overtime. I've never believed in that. Once that happens, the strategy of everything you do within the game changes. So if you're down 3 or down 4, it changes everything you do. That's not to say the Chiefs wouldn't have gone and scored a touchdown and taken the lead either way. So I don't think that was the difference in the ball game, but it was very big, especially from the standpoint of momentum. You're like, uh-oh, okay, they just did this, but looky here, it's only 3 points now instead of 4. There's just so many moments in that game. Ultimately, what it came down to, the Niners ditched the run. They had 3 straight 3-and-outs in the second half of that game where they passed the ball 8 of 9 times on those 3-and-outs. This was a running team. McCaffrey got his 80 on the ground, 80 receiving, but they went away from the run like the Ravens did too. And you know what? Nobody passes the ball on the Chiefs. The best stat of all, non-Mahomes stat, is in the postseason, the Chiefs played the number 1, 2, and 3 teams and the number 6 team, the Dolphins, based on the computer metrics, okay? And those offenses averaged 28.3 per game over the course of the regular season. Chiefs defense held them to an average of 15 points in the postseason. I mean, this defense was just remarkable.
Well, now you look at this coaching staff. Andy, no indication. People want to talk about it, but no indication that he's going anywhere. Spags, someone asked me last night at the Super Bowl party, hey, you think Spags will... he did the head coaching thing with the Rams. I think he's very happy here. Why not put yourself into that legendary status as a DC with this defense? You noted it's young, it's hungry. What do you see when it comes to this staff and what the future holds with this entire unit they have in place right now?
I don't think Spags is really head coach material, and I think the league kind of knows that. He had his shot at it, and it was but he's really great at what he does. His defensive players love him. They're going to give him a raise. These guys make millions of dollars as coordinators. I'm telling you, I think there's a group of people in this organization that are chasing rings right now and not paychecks, but I'm pretty sure Clark Hunt's taking care of all of them. And they're all making more money than they ever dreamed they'd make in their life. So what's the point? The beauty of sport is being part of something, a team sport like football, parades, rings, moments like last night. I just think it's a huge draw. I can't imagine Spagnuolo is going to get hired anywhere else. I just can't imagine it. He's got the youngest defense in the league, and the Chiefs defense hasn't even grown up yet. They're going to get better. They're going to get better.
Yeah. And that secondary, as you noted, Kevin, it's the best secondary in the NFL. You saw that one play, McDuffie on Debo was beautiful in the back of the end zone. How are you passing on this team right now?
I know. And Snead's going to get paid. He's up for a contract. I think they're going to give him big money. He's the guy that's really going to cost them. But they're going to keep him. You can't let a corner like that go. A few years ago they had Charvarius Ward, who plays for the Niners now, who's a terrific player, and they just let him walk. They said, we're not going to pay this guy. He's a really, really good player, but they just replaced him with L'Jarius Sneed, and all of a sudden, look at these guys. McDuffie, Sneed, they bring Reed in to play safety. They're just a well-oiled machine, Pete. I've never seen anything like it. I've been covering sports in this town for almost 40 years. There's been nothing even close to this. This is just everything in the organization works. They just have it right.
They do. And Kevin Kietzman, his podcast, Kevin Kietzman Has Issues. Be checking that out today. We know what he's going to be talking about. Kevin, great stuff. Thank you for fitting us in. I know it's a busy morning for you, and we'll be talking to you very soon, my friend.
Anything for a free parking spot at the parade, Pete. You're the best.
Are you going to be down there or no? Are we going to catch you on the parade route?
I've never been to one. So, I'm going this time. The weather looks great, and I'm going to get the podcast done early, and we're going to head down there, and I don't know what I'm going to see or do, but I've never been to one, so I'm going to do it.
I love that. I want to see that on social media, and maybe we'll catch up with you down there on the parade route at some point.
You got it. If you know about a parking spot, let me know, please.
I will. There you go. Kevin Kietzman, he's the man. Great to have him on the show.